November 2nd, 2020, Superintendent's Information/Committee Meeting. At this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right.
Yes, it's all straight.
This time, I'd like to start with special reports. We'll start with Mr. Bill Leonard for the Westmoreland IU.
No, it's
Hey, thank
taken
you,
care of.
Mr. President. Yeah, they're, as all districts, I attended the last meeting, and they're moving along and, going with the changes as they come along. They seem to have a really good game plan in place, and we're just waiting for what's next. Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Mr. Leonard. All right, now I'll turn to Mr. Petrucci for the Career Tech.
Thank you, Madam President. We met twice last month, October 20th and October 29th, to discuss personnel matter, and we also, in our 29th meeting was a Zoom meeting for most of us. It was on in-house for a couple other people. But also, we took the resignation of our principal, Mr. Rich Capron, and hope to replace him probably sometime in February meeting or January, February meeting. Now I got some enrollment statistics out of the PT kids lineup with each kid in whatever class category they're in, shop they're in. At auto collision, we have 2. At auto technology, we have 15. In carpentry, we have 5. In commercial arts, we have 3. In computer science, we have 2. In construction trade, we have 8. In cosmetology, we have 9. In culinary arts, we have 2. In electrical technology, we have 4. Graphic arts, we don't have anybody. Health, occupation total, 10. Horticulture, 1. Heating, ventilating, air conditioning, we have 6. Logistics total, we have 2. Machine trades, 1. Masonry trades, 3. In plumbing, 6. Power line, 3. Protective services, we have 4. Robotic engineering, we have 1. Sports therapy, we don't have any. Transportation and life career totals, we have 2. And logistics, we have 1. Now, total enrollment this year, the AM students are 528. The PM students are 555. Gives us a total of 1,083, which is an increase, I think, of 13 kids over last year. Now, the other education that we offer in night school, the enrollment is 4 classes. The ABC Electrical Apprenticeship, we have 15. CDL, which I have some background in driving tractor trailer, we have 10. And when we go to Sage and we subcontract out with them to get the tractors and trailers in, then we have 4 apprentice groups. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One's just 23, 15, 15, and 12. Then we have PennDOT State Inspection, which includes also the emission certification. So our enrollments for everything has been gone up, and Penn Trafford, through the help of Dr. Harris, our enrollment is now 80, which I think is the highest number. Maybe Mr. Lego can help me out. I think it's the highest number we ever had, is 80. We always were in the mid-60s or maybe low 70s. We've never had 80 before.
That's pretty
And
close
Mr.
to the highest ever.
Dr. Harris is full appreciation of Career Tech is the reason we have enrollment going up. And
I know our high school administration, and Mr. Quillo's here too, and the guidance counselors, we really promote that. And we've also done a lot with the middle school, actually starting tours down there. So actually kids, as far as, the middle school grades, start hearing about the Career Tech Center. So we've done a lot of things over the last couple of years to
Yes,
really
exactly.
promote it.
Yeah, it's very, very gracious of you. And these kids our employment rates in the mid-90 percentile, and the kids are making the minimum probably $50,000 a year.
Absolutely. They come out with good jobs.
Yep, and more scientific, like electricity is higher, and Plumbing does well, welding does very well too, very well. That's all I have, Madam President.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Male-female ratio, more guys than girls, or?
You know, I think the guys don't know, but that's a good question. I do not know.
'Cause I know we had a female welder.
Yeah.
Top of the class.
She won first place.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
She was
Yeah,
here.
we're I think.
Yeah, she was here.
Yeah.
She won first place in the whole county.
Yeah, just curious how our male versus female ratio. Maybe next time.
Okay, I'll ask him, man. If I remember, I'll do that, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Petrucci. All right, prior to this meeting at 5:30, we had an executive session to discuss personnel and litigation and take advice from our attorney. All right, at this point, I want to turn it over to Dr. Harris for information.
Sure. I wanted to pass out, we put this out last week, was our COVID-19 case tracker. And I want to thank Mr. Inglés, Ms. Lisa Popovich, and Ms. Colleen Kelly, who created it for us, and it's on the website. We've had, year-to-date, we have 35. When we put this out last week, we finally got it down to 0 cases in 14 days at each of our different school buildings throughout the district. Unfortunately, over the weekend, though, we did have a case at the high school, and then we also had a case at Level Green. So we're back up to, we do have 2 active cases currently in the district. Both of them were cases that were considered not originating at the high school. So, Scott, did you have anything that you wanted to say about the tracker that you put
Yeah,
together?
I think, we, just to comment, we are, this is going to be updated anytime there's a change, whenever an active case becomes an inactive, or whenever we have a positive case, it will be updated daily, if it needs to be updated daily. Something to note, there's cases attributed to the school were down there. You could see, we don't have any student cases attributed to the school. In other words, there weren't any students contagious that were in the building, it's through contact tracing, we can say that it wasn't tracked back to the high school or any of the elementary or middle schools as well. So we just think that's valuable information, though, because we're going to consider that whenever we look at potentially closing schools. So we take a lot of information into consideration when we look at the schools and opening schools and closing schools, and talking with the Department of Health. There's not a clear-cut formula that we're going to use, but we have to look at all of the data that we have and make a decision that's in the best interest of the students and staff.
So Scott, there's not going to be the notes going out to the parents if there's a case, they should just
Correct.
reference
Yeah,
this?
in the past, as you know, I counted them up. I think we sent out about 12 email notifications, and a lot of them came bam, 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 all within a week or two. With a lot of communication, and, we did talk to some parents, and some people thought it was a little bit of over-communication. Some people like the communication, but, this does give you an update every single day, and it tells you exactly what buildings we have cases and where we don't have cases, and gives you a big picture of everything. But if there is something that we need to communicate, we will certainly send an email for something that's meaningful and relevant that we think parents need to know. We will certainly communicate that.
We had a wellness committee meeting last Wednesday, and one of the things that we discussed was how well the students are behaving through all this. I don't know if that's the word. Cooperating is a better word. Cooperating through all this. They are wearing their masks. They are social distancing. If I'm correct, we haven't had any on any of our sports teams. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, the kids are really following the guidelines. They want to be in school. They want to make it work. All right, Dr. Harris.
All right. And then also, as you know, we're going forward. I invited Mr. Aquillo today because I know this month we wanted to talk, and we've been talking the last 2 months now. This conversation comes up all the time. It's about the hybrid program at the high school, because we do have some concerns, from different parents over the last month, and I know some students as well too, because they do want to go. They do want the attention to go 5 days a week. So I'm going to turn over to Mr. Aquillo.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. As you know, the teachers at the high school are working extremely hard to provide the best education they can with this hybrid model. They've had Fridays in the past to kind of plan videos, do some things. In the future, they won't have those Fridays to work on things. So we're going to take a look at modifying our hybrid approach to increase more contact time between teachers and students, with the lack of those Fridays. The live online synchronous instruction that we used on October 12th and 13th was extremely successful. Got a lot of feedback from parents and students that the structure of the live instruction is exactly what they were looking for as far as the structure of the day, the accountability, the organization, and just being able to kind of flow through the day like they would a normal day. So we will continue with the model of a synchronous model Monday through Friday, starting next week, November 9th. Students will begin reporting to school on Fridays based off of their green day, gold day, assigned day. The scenario gives us the best opportunity to provide a good quality education to those kids as close to as normal as possible with the 5-day week without putting more work on the teachers to provide these videos that they were doing on Fridays. Green day, gold days, again, Monday through Friday. What is synchronous instruction? Just a couple notes here. Each student will follow their schedule and log in live daily through a Google Meet. Teachers will be live using webcams or other devices and be accessible for the entire class period. Again, that doesn't mean a teacher will necessarily be in class on stage the entire time. They still have the option to mute their audio or video when they are doing group work, individual work. A lot of teachers are now using Google breakout rooms where they're doing group work with kids online and in the classroom. So some different options, and we will go through those options with teachers. But again, we are going to go live 5 days a week for all periods. The students will be required to log in every single period of the day with the exception of study halls and lunch. For accountability reasons, we probably won't post the videos at first. Again, students will have to log in just as if they were in school every single day. Obviously, if a kid is absent, we'll have those lessons recorded so they have some resources, but that'll be on a teacher and student basis. We'll reevaluate this a couple weeks once we see how it goes. Again, we've got tremendous feedback on the October 12th and 13th days, so we want to continue with the education in that model. Our goal is to get the seniors back and all the students back as soon as possible, so we'll see how this live model goes. Again, giving those kids more of a chance to get back in the classroom every single day and getting an equal education. Parents, we will send out a letter to the parents this week, kind of going through the entire format and what to expect. The students will get the same letter so they know when they need to sign in and all the guidelines and recommendations of the synchronous days. Just a reminder, there's no school this Friday. There is an in-service day, and we'll have that time with the teachers to train them on some of the things that we expect them to do in the next couple of weeks. So
Kids
again,
will not log in on Friday then, correct?
right, so kids will not log in on Friday, and they will not be physically in the school. So again, there's no instruction on Fridays. It is in-service day, so we can train some of the teachers on this model. And that's all I have to report.
Dr. Harris, would you, now that is district-wide, the synchronous model, K through 12,
We're gonna start
not
with
just
high
at the
school.
high school.
Well, we're talking with the high school at first this time, then we're going to eventually go through and look at the other models.
We want to get the high school first on this synchronous model and then move down.
They may be on there soon, we don't know.
We are,
For the
right now,
elementary.
we have a lot of, at the elementary, we do have some teachers who do live things. We do have different things. It's almost different at each school, so. But right now, and remember, right now, for the students who are hybrid, a lot of
Your
them
boy going
do
in,
not,
right?
they actually would prefer to come back to school 5 days a week. They don't have that option. And
Thank you.
once they, due to that option, we are trying to make some improvements with the hybrid program.
But elementary could be going live if they wanted, is that what you're saying?
Oh, correct, absolutely. The teachers have that capability, and they can do that.
So a teacher has the option, they could go live starting next week.
Oh, absolutely. Teachers always have that option.
In elementary.
No
At the
mistakes.
elementary, too.
And that would
That's
be
what
our
I wanted to
goal,
hear,
right?
thank you.
Right, we would like to see more of that, to be honest.
That would
Good.
be our goal, to get these kids on that program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
But no, they do have the option. I know some do it right now.
Great.
I can let you know at the high school, the option was there, and we have about 50, just over 50% of the teachers that are already online at least once a week. 25% of those teachers are live every day. So we have a lot of teachers in the building that are really good at that. So hopefully we can, share the wealth and and help get teachers trained so that they can all go live. And we do think it'll be, I don't want to say easier on the teachers, but it'll lighten that workload as far as all the videos they're creating, all the time they're spending and creating resources for those kids online. The more live instruction they can give, hopefully that'll decrease their workload overall. Thank you, Dr. Harris.
Thank you. All right. Does anyone else have any more questions about the high school? Or I know we was talking about, at least we're gonna try to do this in the meantime for the hybrid, because eventually the goal would be to get the kids back in school when we can, when it's safe. Zach, did you have any comments? I know you're a student rep about anything, or?
In my opinion, so far, like everything you guys have been doing with the hybrid planning, I think it's worked generally. I have certain classes that opt to go live every single day, such as physics and the fast-paced classes. A lot of them are going every day. There are some classes I have that, we might just be doing assignments for the day, so there's no really reason to have it for the week. However, I do like the idea of switching on to what you were saying. In class live every single day, which I personally think, I would like to go back to school for a week, but due to everything that's happening, it's a little harder to do, so I think the plan that you just stated is what not only for kids in high demanding classes, but also kids throughout the entire school, or they have work release, in general, everything for every student has worked out well. I don't think I've heard any complaints, fellow students of mine saying, a thoroughly well thing due to,
Dr. Harris, do you want to clarify what Fridays will look like for the rest of the district, the rest of November and December, what we're looking at?
Yeah, and you want to clarify? Go ahead.
Well, so the 6th, as we know, we have an in-service day, but the remainder of the Fridays will just be full instructional day. So students will be reporting to school, or they'll have the remote lessons. There will not be any Act 80 days or in-service days beyond the 6th, correct?
As of now, no, that's pretty much done, because we had the 6th and we had our Act 80 days, so that is our last day of Act 80 days for a while.
Just want to make sure the parents know so that they're planning for daycare and whatnot.
One of the trouble I do know with, one of the blessings that we had with having all the Act 80 days off is we have 688 students who are online remote a day. Plus, we have a lot of students who go off. They come on, they stay home because of they're feeling either some symptoms, or they choose to stay home that day, they're monitoring their health. So we have a lot of kids who, in addition to my 688 students, who change back and forth a day, and that does put a lot of extra work onto the teachers. So it did require a lot of extra planning daily, because you're always planning some different types of lessons. So we did appreciate having those Act 80 days to start the year off, because they were very needed with this new approach.
Question for you later on about this.
All right. Does anyone else have additional question, or?
I wanted to ask, Mr. Coyle, so parents understand, some of our classrooms, they're not overcrowded right now, are they?
No, we actually have, with 1,300 kids in this school, approximately 290 of them are full-time online. We have another 50 to 130 that are work release, college release. So on a given day, we have 400 kids in this school on the hybrid model. So every other day, 400 kids, minus whoever's absent that day. So 400 kids in this school. We did a quick survey. There are classrooms sometimes have 2 and 3 kids in them, all the way up to 18 is our max right now. So, and there's only 2 or 3 classes at that level. So the majority of classes are anywhere from 8 to 15 kids in the hybrid model. So they're able to socially distance, they're able to work through those issues with the health guidelines.
That might help some parents alleviate some fears about how many kids are in my classroom. So there are classrooms as small, like you say, maybe 4 kids.
Yes, definitely smaller classes, which has some strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, it's a weakness when you're trying to be a teacher, and it becomes difficult to instruct on a daily basis. But for the health reasons, it's definitely a plus. That's why I think going live to get more kids involved on a daily basis would definitely be a benefit.
Great, thank you.
I think there was also some people who were questioning if we were considering going off of the hybrid at the high school, and that's certainly something that was under consideration. I think everybody knows that the county is under substantial right now, which is, the timing isn't the best to move off of a hybrid program. But we are considering the fact that Mr. Aquilio just mentioned, that we have so many students that are on remote learning at the high school. We have almost 30% of our population doing remote learning. So we're almost at a hybrid with that scenario as it is. So, you know, we're about at the third of the kids. A hybrid's supposed to reduce your class sizes by about 50%. We're about a third there. So that's something that we're going to consider in the coming weeks in terms of bringing the high school off of a hybrid and coming back to full instruction.
And plus, some of these kids, if you go to full instruction, will jump to online, because they don't want to be back full-time. So,
That's another consideration, yes.
And right now, if you look at the county, I mean, we have, I think it was 15 out of the 17 high schools are hybrid across the county. I think it's just Burrell and Jeanette that goes full-time right now with their students.
In Latrobe full-time?
all right, go on.
Sure, next week, under athletics and extracurricular, we're gonna actually employ winter athletics and extracurricular personnel for 2021
That's
school
what you
year.
want, right?
Under budget and finance, approve transfer of funds.
That's what I meant.
There won't be any items for buildings, grounds, and safety, employee relations, negotiations, transportation, or food services. Under personnel and curriculum, we're gonna actually approve personnel agenda, approve a settlement agreement and release. Under policy, public relations, legislative, Title II, we're gonna actually tentatively to approve board policies and admin regulations. Under taxes, insurance, census, there won't be any items, which brings us to number 12, Mrs. Zissing.
All right, recognition of visitors, and we have none. All right, then the person here has already spoken. So at this time, unless anybody has anything else, I will have a call for adjournment.
I thought they were full-time.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 7:22.